Hey Christian World, I'm Pastor Jeremy, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for Wednesday Night Live. We're going to continue our worship, and we do that through giving because right here at Christian World, we believe that generosity is our privilege. We have a few ways that you can partner with us and give. You can give online by going to christianworld.cc and clicking on the Give tab. You can also text to give to the phone number 337-448-4477. You can mail in your donations to the address on the screen, or you can Venmo. In Proverbs 11, verse 25, it gives a powerful truth about what happens when we live generous. It says this: those who live to bless others will have blessings heaped upon them, and the one who pours out his life to pour out blessings will be saturated with favor. Now that's some big words that's really expressing the heart of God in response to our generosity. When we live to bless others, God heaps blessings upon us. So if you want to live a life that is full, a life that is blessed, then we need to practice living generous lives. And as we give together, we're going to believe together that blessings are coming our way. And here at Christian World, we believe that life together is better.
Hey everybody, all the Wednesday Night Lifers, my Wednesday Warriors, here we are, ready for our midweek motivation. I'm ready. Are you ready? Well, if you're ready, why don't you go ahead and share this? It can be your gift to your friends because, you know, it's almost Christmas. I mean, yes, we have Thanksgiving first, but then Christmas, 35 days away. Wait, is that right? Can that be correct? 35 days. Whew, hold up, let me pull myself together and bring some motivation to you instead of hyperventilation, okay? Breathe, yes. Here we are, back at our midweek motivation. Are you with me? Let's focus, all right. A couple of weeks ago, my mom and dad went to visit my sister in Arkansas. Pray for me because I'm still trying to get over the fact that she moved away from me, but it's okay, I'm fine. It's fine, everything's fine. Anyway, my parents went to see her, and when they got back, I was at their house, and I commented to my mom about her morning glories. They were so pretty, growing on her fence, and she said when they left to go to Arkansas, everything looked dead, just dried up looking vine on her fence. That's all it was. So she planned to just dig it all up and get rid of it when she returned. Yeah, she was probably disappointed, but she moved on, accepting what seemed to be a dead end with this plant. But when she got back home, there it was, alive with beautiful flowers, vibrant with color. What she thought was finished was now blooming. And it made me think about how we do that sometimes with different things in our lives. Things that we think are just withered to nothing, but they're still life. And you know, we can talk about different stories in the Bible, like the story of Lazarus. You know, his sisters were saying, he didn't just die, Lord. He's been dead for 4 days, wrapped up and buried, and now he's probably smelling really bad. And what were you doing? Just taking your time. What's that about? I mean, that's me sometimes when I talk to Jesus. I'm like, what was that about? But Jesus didn't arrive late. He arrived right on time. And all Jesus had to do was speak his name and command him to come out of the grave. Lazarus, come forth. And he did. Life bloomed through what was once dead. They just needed a word from God. And there are lots of examples in the Bible, but I was thinking about the story of the Valley of Dry Bones. This story is found in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, and God is telling his people in chapter 36 that he's going to give them a new heart for a new day. And they need it because this has been a really bad time for them. And they were just dripping in desperation, right? But God is saying, even in the Old Testament, God's saying, I am the God of resurrection power. I am the God who can bring dead things back to life. So all the things that have been bad, all the things that have been defiled in your life, all the things that have been afflicted, all of the things that have been lost or broken, God is letting them know that restoration is theirs. It's a new day. And they're going to be able to farm the abandoned land, and there's going to be a harvest, and all of the cities that lay in ruins, they're going to rebuild them. They're going to be restored. And also it says that the population will increase. It says right here, I will cause your population to increase until you are like a large flock of sheep. Your cities that were once filled with rubble will be filled with flocks of people. Their population was going to increase. That's awesome. And then it goes right to chapter 37, and Ezekiel, the prophet, he's led by God into this valley filled with dry bones. Not just dry bones, but very dry bones, cracked by the sun, bleached by time, the kind of bones that are saying, it's too late. All hope is gone. You are in the valley of very dry bones, the place where dreams are buried, the place where hope feels mocked. In verse 2, it picks up and he says, he made me walk all around the valley among the vast pile of bones. There in the valley, there were very many, very dry bones. Very dry, meaning they had been there for a while. But then God speaks. God who doesn't see death the way we do. God who doesn't see an end, but he sees an opportunity. And he asked Ezekiel, Son of man, can these bones come back to life again? And, Ezekiel, he's kind of caught between faith and the absolute impossibility of what he sees. He responds and he says, Lord Yahweh, you are the only one who knows. I don't know, God. You're the only one who knows. Then he said to me, prophesy over these dry bones. Or, with that command, that reminds us that the power of life and death, it's in our mouth. It's in our words. We can prophesy. Prophesy over these dry bones, these words. Dry bones, hear what Yahweh says. Lord Yahweh says to you, I am now going to breathe into you and you will live again. I will attach muscles and sinews to you. I will make flesh grow on you. I will cover you with skin. I am going to breathe into you and you will live again. And you will know that I am Yahweh. So Ezekiel speaks. And suddenly, there's this noise, there's this rattling sound as bone comes to bone, tendon to tendon, muscle and flesh covering what was once lost, but there's still no life until God commands it. So in verse 9, he says, Then Yahweh said to me, prophesy to the breath. Yes, prophesy, son of man. Say to the breath, Lord Yahweh says, divine breath, come now from the four winds. Breathe on these lifeless bodies so that they can live again. So I prophesied as he had told me, and the breath entered their bodies. They came alive, got up from the ground, stood to their feet, a very great, immense army. When Ezekiel speaks, the breath of God fills them, and the dead, the forgotten, the lifeless, they rise up, standing as a vast, mighty army. And now, when you have a vast, mighty army, one that's actually alive, things can get done. All the things that God promised, the new day and a new heart in chapter 36, now these things can happen because you've got the power to do it. I found it really interesting that in chapter 36, where it says the population is going to increase, that was a sign of things to come. And even in commentaries, it talks about how all the scattered bones in the valley, they were the bones of young Hebrew men that King Nebuchadnezzar had executed. Apparently, when they were taken into captivity, the Jewish young men were so handsome, for real, that the Babylonian women were falling head over heels for them. So the king was super jealous and he had them executed. He had their bodies mutilated. He had their bones scattered everywhere in the valley. So God instructed Ezekiel to speak to these dry bones and that they would come together, they would live again. Not only was that a prophetic sign, but it actually took place as these now resurrected men went on to marry and live out a full life. Yes, the population definitely increased, and what a cool way to do it, right? Well, some of us are in a season where we're standing in our own valley of dry bones. Maybe it seems that somebody took all of their hopes and executed them and mutilated them and left them in the valley scattered and dead. And we look around and we see the remnants of our dreams. We see relationships that have withered up. We see joy that's all dried up and brittle. And we whisper to ourselves, or sometimes I whisper to myself, it's over. It's done. It's dead. I'm going to have to pull it all the way up from the roots and just throw it away. There's no hope for a comeback. But here's the revelation. God is not intimidated by the impossible. Let me say that again. God is not intimidated by the impossible. He's not afraid to go to places that look like death. He's not turning a back to your shame or your mistakes. He's not ordering the headstone. No, he walks right into that valley of dry bones and he says, prophesy to these bones. Prophesy. Listen, when God's breath enters your situation, what was dead has to come alive. What looked too far gone has to stand up and walk. Because when God shows up, when God speaks life, the impossible just has to tap out and the miracle is automatically the winner. Just like my mom's morning glory plant, blooming when it seemed there was no life before, God is saying to you right now, it's not too late. You might be surrounded by the dry bones of broken dreams. You might be just shuffling through the valley of shattered hopes and your prayers have become so tired. You are weary with it. You feel like your season has just passed, that you're in a valley that is a place of defeat. Hear me right now. Morning is coming, and with it, God's mercy. So when we think we're staring at a dead end, when we feel like all the goodness we ever had is dried up, God steps in and he reminds us that his mercies are new every morning. Every morning. Just like my mom's morning glory blooms when the dawn breaks, God's compassion and faithfulness and goodness and love shine into our darkest situations, bringing life where we can't see it. Lamentations 3 says, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. God specializes in the places that seem dried up, in the places that seem lifeless, in the places that seem beyond hope. His mercies are new every morning, and his breath is ready to breathe into what looks dead in your life. So stand in that valley, prophesy to those bones, and declare, breathe, O breath of God. Breathe, O breath of God. Come on, say that with me. Breathe, O breath of God. Because when God breathes, what's dead must live. What's been silent now has a voice, and what's been forgotten will rise up to be a miracle for his glory. God is saying to you today, he's saying to me today, prophesy to the dead things in your life. Speak life over that dream. Speak life over that calling, that destiny that you thought was too far gone. Because the same God who filled the valley of dry bones with his breath, the same God who made a lifeless morning glory bloom, is the same God who is ready to breathe his breath into your situation, into my situation, that situation that seems beyond hope, that dream that feels buried and dead, that relationship that seems to be lifeless, that season that looks way too dark. No, God's morning glory is coming. His mercies, his breath of life, and his resurrection power are ready to bring to life what you thought was gone. Hold on, because even in the valley, morning is coming. Even in the valley, morning is coming. And when it does, God's glory will shine over everything that you thought you lost. You'll see life where there was death. You'll see joy where there was sadness. You'll see beauty where there was ashes, peace where there was chaos, love where there was hatred, health where there was sickness, and more than enough where there was lack. When morning comes, when you speak to the death of the situation, when you prophesy life, even as you're standing in the valley of dried up bones, miracles start to happen. Get ready, because your dry bones are about to rattle. Morning is coming, and it's bringing new mercies. You know, I love the lyric of the song that says, if I'm not dead, God's not done. Greater things are still to come. Do you believe that today? Your story isn't over, because God is not done. Greater things are happening. So even if the night feels long, and even if you're convinced that nothing ever will change for you, remember, morning is coming. God's breath, His mercy, and His power are ready to make everything come to life and bloom. Amen? Amen. Hey, I pray this word encourage you to know that even though you might be in a valley of dry bone season, things are changing. Morning is coming. Speak to those dry bones, prophesy life, and watch what God will do. Okay, I'm speaking to you right now and prophesying that you will get out of the valley of your bed Sunday morning and join us right here at church. We have 2 services for you at 9 and 11 a.m., or you can join us online at 11. I for real hope to see you then. I love you.